Woo! We alive. We alive. Lord, help me, Jesus. We alive and in living color today. Woo! Woo! Giving you this little morning tea. The reason why I call it morning tea because your boy don't drink coffee. Fuck all that. Sorry. Not even 30 seconds and I'm already using profanity. You gotta love it. Uh, 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 uh. Mm. Sometimes we need to take a moment and thank whatever God you serve that we see another bright morning. But at the same time, you got to come into that morning with your teeth baring and gritting like, "Argh." Got one person viewing so far. Mm. I'm on my Mr. Z shit today. Oh, I'm catching y'all early morning. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me see who's in the chat. Say hello, goddammit. I know we got some naysayers and ne'er-do-wells. Lord, what's up? Got F Holiday. Indigo Flow. Man. Why does that make me think of deep waters? Are we driving in deeper? Man. How y'all doing? For some odd reason, I wasn't gonna do a morning show. Even though I'm gonna take a nap and you either way after the show anyway. Oh yeah, you gotta love incognito. Let me see. It's kind of funny in the manosphere. Oh yeah, she is. It's kind of funny in the manosphere that I hear talk about. Sometimes it becomes reoccurring talking about alphas and you know, like this guy's an alpha, this guy's a beta, this guy's an alpha, this guy's a beta. I love women and all this other stuff. Like, oh no, I didn't get a chance to see Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty's. If that episode is like any other episode, I'm a most likely enjoy it. But there's certain things I got to address in my way. Um, let's start with the alpha and beta. Oh shit, not Morty. Uh, Not Morty. No. It's funny that there are guys who talk about alpha and beta, and it was one guy I was listening to give his spiel about, well, if you're 30 and 40 years old and you're still sleeping with 10 women in a month, you're not living your best life. I'm gonna say this: if you're a man and you have the capability of sleeping with 10 women in 1 month, you the motherfucking man. I think we put too much emphasis on telling guys how to live their life. If that guy is the most comfortable and happy being free out there, let him be free. There are some guys who are the most happy and capable being married or being in long-term relationships. Let them live their life. If you're 40, 50, 60 and you can do that, power to you. I think a lot of times I hear guys say this shit online is because there's a lot of jealousy. I said it. There's a lot of guys who are jealous instead of living their life and walking their lane. When people talk about this person's alpha, that person's alpha, this is beta, this is. Let's look at the terminology of beta. He who follows, he who leads. It is damn near impossible to be leading in every subject because that's human nature. At some point, you had to learn insert subject matter from this person. Even the Jedi had Padawans. So I hear this, and you get a lot of shaming. You get a lot of shaming from people who don't understand the blue pill, the red pill, and the black pill. It's no different than women shaming black men who get their passports to go overseas to look for wives because they do not produce wives in the Western world anymore. Jedi self-castrate. Well, not all of them. But it's funny. I think they mentally castrate, not physically. It's funny because a lot of times a lot of these guys out here judge their masculinity through women instead of personal endeavors. So you're going to get some guys out there who are jealous. You're going to get some guys out there who make excuses for why is that guy bigger, stronger, faster? Why is that guy bigger, stronger, faster, smarter? Some people just have it much more naturally. And quite frankly, I just look at people and say, you know what? Instead of actually saying, I know or I'm studying male and female nature, you're going to get people to criticize the knowledge you acquired through years. Do I think it's everybody? No. I'm just saying that, hey, there are exceptions to the rule, but most likely this is what's going to happen. So you get these guys just saying, well, you know, if you're dealing with those type of women to feel something, you're not feeling much or you're not being type of man. I mean, here's the problem. Your journey is not everybody else's journey. Even in the red pill spaces like this one, sometimes you gotta let a simp be a simp. The world still needs simps. Don't get me wrong. The world still needs simps. If we never had simps, how do you think some of these big girls, some of these women with the nasty attitudes get laid? If it wasn't for the simp, the world would be a much more crummier place. But at the same time, we do have to speak on reality. And that, my friends, is where a lot of people got me fucked up. And unfortunately, if I go to people and say, look, if I look outside my window or walk outside my door and I hear young ladies who are preteens and teenagers cuss like sailors despite being around adults, how do you think she's going to act when she's a full-fledged adult? it's not going to look, she's not going to look like wife material because she wasn't raised to be. She's not dainty. She's not feminine. I think in the black community, we just got used to very masculine women, and we tend to make excuses for them. You ever notice in the black community, everybody tells you what a real man is except the men? But not one of you motherfuckers ever come out there and say, well, a real woman wouldn't insert subject matter here. Got me fucked up. But the truth said, this Kanye situation is him blue pilling, raging over Kim. See, when he took the money, when he married Kim and they both became billionaires, look, you should already know what the mission is. She wanted children. She wasn't going to have them out of wedlock. They had to look like the nice family for a few years. He should have been preparing himself for this moment. If you got a marriage that lasts longer than 5 years, that's a plus. That is a true plus. If you have a relationship that lasts over 3 years, that was a plus. He should have made his money and ran. And here's the bad part, right? You're paying $200,000 a month for kids that you only see 20% of the time. And I say this to every man with children. Don't let anybody, I don't care if it's the mother, I don't care if it's the government, don't let anybody bitch you out of your kids. And that's exactly what happened. He got bitched for his kids. He should already know from past experiences, Kim is a pass around. The truth said he's on a mission of self-destruction because he's trying to show her he doesn't care about the money. He's not a sellout. Well, I'd rather care about the money. You know? And there's times when I tell men, you know what? If a chick's going super hard to keep you away from kids, I always say this. Stop telling men they should fight harder and start telling mothers why should he have to fight at all. I'm not going to go out of my way to prove that I'm such a stand-up guy for women. That's part of that bullshit that men have got stuck on. If you want to really talk about this shit and you really want to be a bitch about it, you're going to be the one to explain to kids why father wasn't there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to write a letter and I'm going to keep those damn letters and I'm going to date them. And each one of them letters, you're going to explain why you kept me away from my best friend. Why did you keep me away from my first superhero? Why did you keep me away from my first love, which was daddy? And the Go Flow said, I just asked them heifers how long they've been men, then shut them down. Of course, I always ask that. I said, put it to you this way. And I hate to talk about this because this is how badly women have fallen. Is it all? Not all, but it's the overwhelming majority. For years now, probably almost a decade and a half, y'all been the champions of this transgender movement, especially for men turning themselves into quote unquote women. Y'all allow a woman to get a transgender woman to get Woman of the Year. When do men allow a woman transitioning into a man like that's ever going to happen, get man of the year. When does that happen? When the fuck does that happen? But yeah, when I hear this thing about women are leading, yeah, you're leading to the gates of hell, to destruction, chaos. Men would never say, look, men are very respectful about people's lives, believe it or not. Especially in the black community. We really don't do that gay bashing shit. You might have outliers, but we're not known for doing that. That's some white boy shit. And what happens is that we'll say, hey, that guy's gay. He's not bothering anybody. Leave him alone. I've even went to school where if you try to pick on the gay guys because he's gay, there's some dudes who'll beat your ass because you being a bully. But yet, we would say, hey, you live your life your way, what you do in your bedroom's your business. I'm not a part of it. Hey, we just want you to know if you could do the job. The problem is this. Every time people stand up for that shit, guess what they don't do? They don't understand the long-term ramifications and the backfire that shit like that goes. What's up, Bert? And see, what's up, Mike? But see, the transgressions that women have yet to answer for, men always have to pay the penalty. You see, when men divorce, nobody asks the chick, what did you do wrong? Why did he leave? It's automatically the man's fault. Even as a cop, when I first was a rookie, and I'm not condoning domestic violence, but I used to think that all these men are beating up these women. Till I had to go and see reality for myself. And the FBI statistics even said it in the black community, 68% of domestic violence in the black community, the woman is the aggressor. That's almost 70%, folks. That's almost 7 out of 10 times you go to a domestic violence call, the woman is the one acting a fool. But nobody says that. Nobody wants to talk about that. Lord Juno said, morning, Charles. Notice that some of the people who had smoke for Dion leaving Colorado didn't have no smoke for Brett at all for Brett Favre. This is how you know the community is done. I mean, me and Mike had this conversation about working for the Baltimore Police Department. You chose who you wanted to be leaders. You chose who you wanted to be supervisors. And those same lazy motherfuckers who will not answer a call, who were scared pissless to confront a suspect or a criminal, are the same people being rewarded for their laziness, for their rudeness, for their contempt in the supervisor and leadership positions. You get what the fuck you paid for. You encourage this behavior, you got to suck up to it. Own it. Own it. Own it. You didn't want to reward the people that kept other officers safe. You didn't want to reward the people who kept their post in the crime down. You didn't want to reward the people who came in, night out, giving you 100% of their bodies, minds, and souls. So I've said this many of times, and I hate to pick on women about this. Don't tell me about your fucking problems if they're not going to give you the most strenuous part of it. Hell, that even goes for the kiss ass dudes too. But yet, like BGS said, in our community, when the women do well, it's black girl magic. When the women fail, it's black men's fault. Look at Stacey Abrams. You literally had a platform that excluded black men, and you thought by doing the same ignorant shit and doubling down the second time around, you were going to get voted? How did you let a white guy come into the black community, talk to black constituents, and out black you? Just the sheer audacity and arrogance. And you lose even bigger the second time by damn near 4 times the amount of votes. The first time it was about 50,000. This time it's 300,000. No, that's actually what? Shit. 6 times the votes. But now, when black men are taking accountability and saying, you know what? As I always said from my wrestling coach, the greatest reversal of all times is to never be put in the situation or hold in the first place. When black men take accountability and say, you know what? I'm getting myself in better shape. I'm getting educated. I'm getting certified. I'm getting trained. Okay. Okay. I'm dressing better. I'm looking like an adult for once. Okay. Now that I did all this great stuff, where's the woman I could pick for my wife? The motherfucker's looking under the bed. He's looking in the shed, the garage. He's looking in the attic, closet. And he's like, damn. What's up, Miss Brenda? Woo! And he's like, damn, where's my wife? And yes, I'm not talking about the jailbirds. I'm not talking about the ne'er-do-wells. I'm not talking about the couch-dwelling lazy niggas. I'm talking about the niggas who actually got their shit together. And they're looking around and saying, where's my wife? Where's my, where's my, where's the woman that compliments me? See, men don't look for women to be their equals. They look for women to compliment them. And this is where a lot of modern women got it fucked up. Y'all never want your equals. Nah. Nah. You don't want your equals. You want that motherfucker who's on Mount Olympus. You want the Pharaoh. Even though you're a potter in Egypt, you want the goddamn Pharaoh. You may be a seamstress in medieval fucking England. No, you want the king who sits on that damn throne. No. Let's talk about you're in feudal Japan and you want the goddamn shogun or the emperor. But this proves, and trust me, Juno, I'm going back to that Deion Sanders thing, and I'm going to talk about that. This proves that you were never taught by your parents reality. Okay? And reality dictates average women get average men. Average men are okay with average women. as much as we may fawn over prime Megan Good God Almighty, we talking about this Megan Good. Jesus Christ, that Megan Good. If my fucking screen actually works. No. Yep, that one. There we go. We're talking about that Megan Good. This Megan Good. I know that goddamn I'm not gonna get her. But yet, we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about how you have a lot of good men out there and the women aren't picking them. I literally went on Facebook and Instagram and said to women, don't give me that bullshit because you're not picking them. The only time you looking for a good man is when your cheeks are worn the fuck out, when you got more kids than Abraham, and your beauty fades like a goddamn crayon in the sun. That's the only time you're really looking for a good man. You're looking for a good man as an insurance policy and not as a husband. And this is what I like to blame the men for. Because I've stated it many of times, black men have for the longest time been the garbage men of the goddamn dating world, that everybody with all their iniquities, all their tragedies, all their sins come to you to try to find salvation. And what do? You take the shit hook, line, and sinker. You take the shit hook, line, and sinker. You're right, Better Truth. If she was an A-list actress, she would have been our generation's version of Diane Curl. But nobody wants to talk about that, huh? That's the reason why your boy get shadow banned. Because he can hit it either side of the goddamn plate out the fucking park. You can't complain about the women if you accept the worst of them. If you don't like big girls, why are you still fucking them? Oh, damn, did I touch a nerve? If you don't like the masculine women, why are you still entertaining them? Oh, damn, who the fuck? Oh, god damn. Oh, shit. Shit. God damn it, I stubbed my toe. Oh, Lord, somebody. Oh, come on. We gotta dance to that one, Marvin. Come on, Marvin, get out there and dance. Yeah, yeah. Oh, they ain't ready for that shit, boy. Oh, they ain't ready for that shit. Mm. Mm. You don't like them rude girls? Stop fucking them. Why you keep fucking with them? Oh, Lord, help me, Jesus. Lord, it's the big one, Elizabeth. Lord, Captain America, fight your way through. Help me, Cap. I'm stuck in the elevator with these niggas. Lord, help me. Shit, I need your help, Cap. Oh. Yeah, I got no sense early in the morning. I got no goddamn sense. Oh, oh Lord. My man Mike, even still using him because she's going to get the benefits, retirement, life insurance, car, house. Oh, man, I'm going to tell you what. Oh, man. My daddy. My My daddy always told me about pretty women. He said, "You find me a fine bitch, and I'm gonna send you a nigga who's sick of her shit." Anytime Devon Franklin divorced Megan Good, you know it's some shit. Lord Judo says she's too hot to stay married. She just wants the bag with multiple dicks. That's the formula most of these women are applying now. Mm-hmm. 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 I'm gonna tell you, we gotta stop complaining if we're gonna still keep the fucking attention going. You can't complain about the project chick if she leaving your house before 5 a.m. Sorry. Sorry. Whoa! Oh my goodness. Xander said Z. He said 100. My man Mike said, when the last time you heard a wife leaving for anything for a husband and her will? Shit. Only thing she gonna leave you was a bill and more problems. Bitter Truth said, because niggas are just as psychologically damaged as these women, but I don't know what I'm talking about. Facts. But motherfuckers don't want to hear this shit, this truth. They don't want to hear none of this shit. So, they don't want to. Yep, you know what, Xander? Don't say it. Don't say it, Xander. Don't say it. You gonna Jesus, Xander. That's the quote of the day. Big girls and ghetto black women stay pregnant. I, I thought I was the only one who noticed that shit. You ever notice the women with the worst attitudes have the most children? That should not equate if that was logical. That should not equate if it was logical. Shout out to Xander for the super chat. Mike said passport 2023. I swear to God, man. I think the least traveled people in America are black men. And black men now finding ways to go out of the OCONUS, which is the military term outside the continental United States. That's what's really scaring a lot of these women, especially in the black community, that we don't have to take your behavior. Remember back in Family Matters when Steve Urkel would be like, I don't have to take this. I'm going home. Black men are now saying, I don't have to take this. I'm going the fuck out of here. And let's get on the topic of interracial dating since we're here. You have 3 black mixed chicks on a podcast talking about how much they don't like black men with white women, but yet they're okay with black women with white men. The fucking hypocrisy, man. It's funny how black women get their faces turned up when they see a brother with a white woman and they call him a sellout, but not one of them bitches had any smoke for Serena Williams. Hello. And see, if you think about it, black men, when they date interracially, they don't have to change a goddamn thing about themselves. All they got to do is stay who they are. Women acquiesce to us. We don't acquiesce to them. But when you see black women go and date interracially, notice how submissive she can become, how cooperative she becomes, how cheery, how happy. And oh yeah, by the way, that motherfucker doesn't have to be the second coming of Idris Elba. He doesn't have to be the second coming of Michael B. Jordan. He could look like a plain old overalls wearing, beer belly, ginger bearded white boy with overalls, and she will treat him like he's the second coming of Christ. Namer said, Charles Faulkner, is it still the walk of shame if you and her live across the street from each other, or is it the same building? The walk of shame is the walk of shame. No matter how far the distance, it's still shame. And yeah, they were the product of black men and white women. Here's the fucked up part, right? I know. And Berkeley said, preach. I'm enjoying this. This is the first time Berkeley's been in the chat with me. I'm gonna say this shit, and I know I'm gonna fuck up some people's heads. I think it's very shameful that black women will wear fucking weave and straight hair and color fucking eyes, but then get mad when their sons pick a woman from a different race. Well, my son only wants to date white women. No, what you really should say is that why did black women lose a good dude when they had the first picks first? When they had the fucking pickings first? Why? Because guess what? Every black man knows if I'm dating outside my race, there's a slight risk of me getting into a fight and an altercation from a jealous ass dude from set race. This lets you know that I'm more willing to deal with that shit than you. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Instead of asking why black men date outside their race, ask black women, why haven't you built a better product? We're not talking about the good ones because we know the good ones are far and few between. We're talking about the majority of them. Stop worrying about who your son goes to bed with and start worrying about if your son's happy. But I get too many mothers who I personally know tell me this shit. If you, everybody knows the first thing about mating and dating is proximity. If you put me in places where there's mixed crowds, guess who your sons and daughters are going to date? Mixed crowds. Oh, let's not get talking about the imitation white girl. Well, I'm trying to be a valley girl, even though I'm from fucking Park Heights. See, it's funny that when a lot of brothers get into relationships with black women, they get the worst of them. They get the worst treatment. The yelling, the embarrassment. But they know goddamn well they get to that white boy, they changing. They changing their speech patterns. You don't have brothers out there doing ghetto gaggers with white girls. But I've seen a lot of videos of black chicks doing the ghetto gaggers, and I'm going to just leave it as that. Somebody need to answer for that shit. You don't see us around a bunch of fucking white chicks with Confederate flags. But I've seen a lot of black chicks with some openly racist motherfuckers calling black men niggas right in front of their face, and they're like, baby, calm down. They're not even offended. Oh man, is there such thing in to go for as a good part of Park Heights? God damn. Oh, oh, they will stop twerking. They will actually wear their natural hair for them. Mm. But yet, let's take Charlie Wilson. Charlie Wilson was on Skid Row after the damn Gap Band. But that white chick, and she was not a beauty queen, an average looking white chick, brought him back to fucking status, and he was even bigger now as a solo act. Do I interracially date? No. But trust me, if black women went to the gym, was a lot more cooperative, and was a lot more kind, compassionate, and loving, y'all be undefeated. Every time I see a black girl physically who works out, there is nothing better on earth than you. But you can't tell them that because they don't think what you say is worth a damn. But, I promised you I'm going to talk on the Deion Sanders thing. Neon Deion, prime time, Coach Prime, if you will, was up, Jackson State? I mean, hey, even better. Same difference. Who's up Jackson State? Had a fucking undefeated season. Brought talent. Trust me, Jackson State used Deion and Deion used Jackson State. And I hope he does win a national championship in Colorado. This is the problem of being a black male at an HBCU. A lot of your fucking HBCUs, we're looking at you, Morgan Coppin, Howard. Think about it. When does an HBCU come out and recruit black men to go to their schools? You give all your damn scholarships to the women. Then on top of that, you overcharge everybody for supplies, books, and just living to be in some fucked up fucking dormitories. I do have to give credit to Morgan and Coppin. At least they took the money and built some shit with it. And actually put up some new dorms. But yet, you want everybody to feel included, but black men don't feel included. I'm a wrestler by trade. How many black athletes who were wrestlers can't even go to an HBCU because they dropped the fucking team? And you wonder why a guy like Jordan Burroughs goes to Nebraska, kills it, get 2 NCAA titles, go his graduating year and win a fucking world title the next year at the Olympics, and now down the line, he holds the record for most world Olympic titles in American history. Do you think you would have accomplished that going to an HBCU? Right now, Morgan State has Kenny Monday as their fucking head coach of Morgan's revamped wrestling program. And for those of you who do not know who Kenny Monday is, he's the first black man to win an Olympic gold medal with wrestling back in the '88 Olympics. I want to see if Morgan is going to open up a blank check to get him the fucking talent that he needs to make that shit a powerhouse. The only goddamn thing y'all care about is some goddamn stepping. Y'all don't even try to recruit young men to at least join your ROTC like you used to. Shout out to Volcanus. Whoa! So you expect Deion to not accept a $5 million a year deal when the goddamn athletic budget for Jackson State for all of its sports is $8 million? Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Hold on, folks. comeback. You expect Deion fucking primetime Sanders, Hall of Famer, multiple time Super Bowl champion, to take a pay cut. Deion is what the epitome of what black excellence is. Because he's the one that put a lot of faith into them black boys and said, you're winners, no matter who or where you are. Look at this. Charles, me and my moms used to stay right up the street from Howard. I saw the corruption firsthand. All these educated women incentives, yet nothing for black male talent. See, you got to look at it, right? Morgan State is one of the best engineering schools in the fucking country. So much so that they try to get white boys up there on minority scholarship. You're telling me Poly up there on fucking Cold Spring Lane isn't producing more black boys to go to engineering schools like Morgan? How the fuck do you have Howard, who has 72% women and 28% men? But yet you want to talk about why you can't find your equal? Every time I hear a woman say why you can't find a good man, tell them this: your mama didn't raise them. See, when black boys reach a certain age, they're not pushed into education, they're pushed into labor. Somebody need to write that down into the chat for time immemorial. Black boys, when they reach a certain age, are not pushed into education, they're pushed into labor. See, what we're not going to confuse and misconstrue is why these scholarships are out for boys and the boys are not getting them. Dr. T.S.R. Johnson stated several times, when boys reach the 8th grade, only 10% of them can read on level. If you can't read and you can't do math, you can't go for these scholarships. That's a simple fucking equation. I wish we stopped tiptoeing around the bullshit. Woo! Shout out to my boy Mike with the $10. Woo! See, we're going to deconstruct this bullshit one layer at a time. These black boys, when they go to these schools, are most likely going to be suspended, expelled, given detention, shamed. You never get too many black boys to be tested and learn that he's actually more advanced. And the reason why he acts up in class is because he's fucking bored. He's not being challenged. We know that boys and girls learn differently. That boys have a more tactile sense of learning and girls have more of an auditory. We know these to be true. But yet, why do you not promote more all boy schools? Have you noticed that when you have all boys schools with strong heterosexual black men teaching and in the administration, that you're gonna have like damn near 100% graduation rate and acceptance to colleges? They had an all boys school in Baltimore. They have an all boys school in Chicago. But yet, guess who the number one people who always oppose all boys schools and learning? I want y'all to take a guess. Y'all take a guess in the chat. I'm gonna stay silent for a few seconds. I'm gonna stay silent for a few seconds. I'm gonna let the birds chirp. Oh, that's the Ravens. Hey, we won last night. We won yesterday, nigga. Yeah. Look at Beastly's nerd. I was being pushed into sports because everyone thought I was gonna go to the NFL so they could eat off me. Exactly. Exactly. But that's the first fucking thing that is always going to be said when you put up any initiative to black boys and learning. What about the girls? You got Howard where you almost have a fucking 80 percentile rate of girls to your fucking schools. The girls are fine. We don't need to worry about them. The boys are struggling. This is the reason why COINTELPRO is so beautiful. You know why? All you need to do is take the lion away from the pride and the pride falls. I don't care how powerful of a piece the queen can move on the chess piece. If the king is dead, the game is over. And just to let you know, the queen can only move around where she wants because she's under the protection of the king. Y'all don't feel me on that, huh? Y'all don't feel me on that one. Shout out to LAP SWAT. One, you have to have more males in control, train other males. Zulu Empire would take the young males to the military crawls or training centers. All right, shout out to the $5 super chat. See, black boys have always been looked as beasts of burdens. How much can we get off of their back? Why do you think a lot of the mothers will tell the teachers, well, he doesn't need to worry about college. He should get a trade. And guess what? I'm not knocking the trades because we need them beautiful trades, man. We need men who can still bricklay, sheetrock, carpentry, flooring, plumbing, mechanical work. We still need those. Without those trades, the country does not run. Law enforcement. But yet, if you're going to be an electrician and that's your trade, also don't forget to get a degree in electrical engineering. If you're a plumber, you should get a degree one day if you can, or if you want to, get it in architectural designs. But nobody tells a lot of black boys this stuff because a lot of black boys are treated like, hey, as soon as you reach a certain age, you should go get a job. When do you ever hear in the black community, hey boy, you need to go get an education so you don't have to rely on no woman? When do you hear that? AB said, I'm gonna need to borrow the Ravens because the Colts suck. I know, right? Maybe we need to make our own Argon like the Spartans. I mean, hey, maybe we do. Except we don't need to touch them. But here's the craziness, right? When Obama tried to browbeat black men in college and say you need to take care of your kids, they actually looked at him and clapped back and said, number one, sir, we don't have children. Number two, what are you doing to help us reach our educational goals? And he was put on the spot like he should be. And when My Brother's Keeper came out, guess what two entities fought hard against that? Guess who fought hard against it? It was black female feminists and white men. But y'all don't hear me, though. Also, if you feel inclined, please hit that Cash App. You're getting an education today. You're getting this education. What they always say, you go get this work. I dare anybody debate me on this shit right now. I dare anybody. I will forego my nap just to dissect you. See, not a lot of people put a lot of interest into the educating of black boys because they know that they're going to get their work out of you either early in life or in jail. And a lot of people actually prefer that you get your work out in jail because they don't have to pay you that much or at all. Think about this. The hood will give you more support coming home from jail than college. The hood will give you more support coming home from the military, excuse me, coming home from jail than the military. Did you think when I came back home from Iraq that I got this big fucking celebration and party? Fuck no. But I'm gonna tell you, niggas who came out of jail, the whole block had a party for that nigga. Hmm. What's up, Calvin? AL in the building, everybody's favorite mother trucker. Think about this. You go to these places that are supposed to be of higher learning, and they forego actually giving you an education. And nowadays, when you go to an HBCU, it's not even education, it's indoctrination. I swear to God, you could take a sweetheart little girl, and then on 4 years of college at an HBCU, she's going to hate everything about black men. And you're going to see it. She's going to believe all them feminist lies. Black men don't take care of their kids, even though the CDC said we're the number one fathers in the damn country. Oh, black men don't support black women. That's a lie. Most of these chicks out here don't tell you their dirty little secrets. That the Pookie and Ray Ray was the guy who picked their kids up who were not even their kids from school, took them home from school, and then it was the educated Lane who helped her with her fucking projects or wrote her fucking reports. But I'm telling ugly black truths. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to tell that shit. I worked so hard. Really? I can tell you so many chicks I know now who have their associates, bachelors, and masters. They owe me half their degree because they picked my brain for the answers. And I know there's multiple black men who can say the same. I remember it's a female cop I used to talk to. She said, I was with this guy who didn't work and he wasn't working really that much, but he was always picking up my daughters and all this. Yeah, you picked them. He picked them up because you were going to school and it was beneficial to you. Once you graduated, he had no more use, and you kicked his ass to the curb. Charles, and they wonder why men are leaving their jobs in infrastructure. They have to deal with this with a system not giving a shit about them. Plus, their own women shit on them, saying they don't need them. Why do you why do you think guys like Berkeley had to leave Baltimore? So I could take the same shit. See, this is how you know the guys are smarter. So I could take the same bullshit people before me took. Fuck that. Fuck that. I even had to tell myself this shit. When I looked around and I seen how people treat their men, I said, fuck that. I'm going to be happy. Detroit 313 said I had a white woman celebrate for me for my CDL license. God damn. I mean, it pains me because you would think black women will want a strong family unit. But I have to tell the truth regardless of how people feel. What you feel and what you think does not outweigh reality. It never does. I want to point out something to you. You're saying that black men are leaving relationships, but black women are divorcing their men at an 80 percentile rate. Who's leaving who? You want to reserve the right to have the ability to break up our families. You rather get money that's court appointed extortion, aka child support, because yes, it is extortion. Why are you sending men to jail who can't afford to pay their child support when we're not supposed to have a debtor's court in America? Then on top of that, you're suspending licenses, which you need to go for work. And then you're only getting a percentile of what the courts will divvy out to you because you got to pay them court fees, of course. Instead of getting the best that you can, and 100% of that money goes straight to the kids. Bitter truth says it best. Well, yeah, take that BS with a smile. And think about that. That whole it goes back full circle. We expect Deion Sanders to sit around and take the shit that he's going to take at Jackson State and stay. The only time the alumni matters to an HBCU is homecoming and when you have a stepping contest or the battle of the bands. If it's a party or a reunion, you'll see the alumni. But when it comes to scholarships, fuck them kids. I said it. I said it. If y'all wanted Dion to stay so much, pay the man. Pay the man. There's no determination. There's no sense of loyalty in the community. You damn near stifle the education. Why doesn't Morgan and Coppin pay some of these students to become tutors to the kids in the high schools? And if they do, why don't they promote it more? Why don't you even get the tutoring sessions as accreditations, as certifications? Hmm? Why don't the HBCUs actually take their money and give it to some of these high schools? See, the problem with a lot of HBCUs is that you don't appreciate what you have till it's gone. Do you think Jackson truly appreciated that they had Deion Sanders as a fucking football coach? As a head coach? Do you think Morgan State is going to appreciate Kenny Monday as a wrestling coach and give him the blank check he needs to make it a fucking top 5 or top 10 powerhouse wrestling program where you could take all this black youth from around the country and bring them to your school and give you more acclaim and esteem? I'll leave that for you. Speaking of one of our blue collar brothers, what's up, Electrician 480? Mike said it best. How come they don't have a bridge program with the high schools in Baltimore? Because people are still stealing the money. Mike said, I didn't even know about Morgan and Cop until the 11th grade. Shout out to Detroit 313. The white woman has celebrated for my graduation, was my financial advisor when when I was 22 years old. She was fine looking, plus she gave me a hug. 100. Yeah. I'm trying to buy a house, right? Beautiful house. My realtor is a 60-year-old white woman. We were on the phone for an hour and a half, not only talking about trying to get this house, but also talking about life stuff. This 60-year-old woman also got my father his beautiful house in Milford Mill. And I spoke to her and her husband. Husband's a retired Air Force vet. Very beautiful fan. Like she's a pit bull and she's excited. She's excited to get me this house. She's like, look, we're gonna do everything in our power to get you this house. And shout out to Electrician 480. Woo! And let's circumvent that to my VA counselor, who's a black woman. Right? It's no secret that, I'm the owner and proprietor of Black Lion Security Firm, LLC. We are the pride of protection with the protection of the pride. Woo! And when I said I wanted to go to this school for executive protection, they literally call ESI the Harvard of bodyguarding school. And I'm like, wait a minute. If I go to ESI, do you know how many connections I will have in that security, in that personal and private security protection field? I would be well connected. It's like a fraternity. There are so many people that says, once you go there, we got a 6-figure job for you in DC waiting for you. Waiting for you. Matter of fact, you will lead the teams from all your experience. Do you know that heifer tried to tell me that, no, we can't pay for that. We can't pay for the travel. And I'm talking right to the counselors at ESI who says they pay for everything. Your VA benefits should pay for everything, down to the plane ride, down to the lodging, down to the food, down to the bullet, down to the everything. And I give that example to say this. Why is it that when you have black women in HR, you can't get that brother that good paying job and he comes around, he can take care of you? But no, what you do is you give it to another black woman and then shit on black men and say, why can't you find education or opportunities or occupation? And that's what the educational system in the HBCU is like. Shout out to J Will 28. Another problem at HBCUs is that the money gets stolen from students often. Oh, let's not talk about that shit. Mm. 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 Oh man. Oh man. Shout out to Calvin Rogers. He said 5 million a year, Gap Band, burn rubber. Uh-oh. Just because you're not for me. Why you wanna hurt me? Hey, just because you're not for me. Why you wanna burn me? Oh man. Bit of truth said, you kidding me? Even conscious folks couldn't manage a private school for 3 years in Atlanta at the height of the black consciousness down here. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, man. My man Mike said, I went to Northwestern and students wasn't allowed to be in the college counselor office unless they were in the 12th grade. You know what, Mike? I'm going to tell you something. You know Peanut Charles III. He's actually on honor roll. Do you know I had to sit down with this boy and say, look, you can't do all the bullshit you were doing in middle school. You got to actually earn this shit. This is a medical science school. Your math has to be correct and your reading can't be far behind either. This boy actually dedicated himself to coach class, stayed an hour later at school to get his grades up to learn to comprehend the source material, and he's on honor roll. He's so proud of himself, even though I'm proud of him, and so is my father, that he said, the teacher said with grades like this, I can go to any college I want. Where's the people encouraging their kids like that? College should be the first damn thing you talk about in the 8th or ninth grade. Bitter Truth said the biggest problem with female leadership is selfishness. The biggest problem with female leadership is the fact that females tend not to have foresight. It's very hard for females to see years down the line. And I'll give you an example of that. Majority of women who go to college and graduate, they see it as a destination. Many of men who go to college and graduate, they see it as the beginning of a journey. Sailor Maine. Man, we got the military folks coming out here. I wonder why the military and the police and the firefighters love me so much. Gee, do you think it's my sparkling personality? Yep, that's what happened to me when I was trying to get into trucking school. A sister was making all kinds of excuses not for funding me. Excuse me, funding the course, even though I was qualified. Exactly. Exactly. You get these black women as counselors and as HR specialists, and instead of being the spook at the door and saying, you know what, and you know what, I'm gonna say this. Salute to all the black women who are counselors and in HR who look out for brothers. Salute to y'all. Because God knows that there's some good ones out there. I'm not gonna say they're all bad, but the majority of them are fucked up. But you got some good ones that are out there who look out for brothers and say, look, get this good job here. Even if the job pays higher than what she has, she knows that at least that brother can take care of himself and a family. And Calvin said, because you are getting to a better life and a better choice than her, you are building outside of people. Exactly. Yeah, foresight is key. When I judge leadership, I have to judge you by your foresight. Where are you going? Where are you going? Because a great leader is going to do two things. He's going to be about three things. He's going to be responsible, he's going to be accountable, and he's going to have foresight, he or she. If they don't have those three key elements, they're not a good leader. Because a great leader has to be accountable for the totality of his people. Women, because they don't have the foresight, and like they said, they're selfish, which genetically and biologically women are selfish, as they should be. They should look for the best genetics, the best men. I wish they did, because now we would have a better excuse for better families, but I digress. That they cannot see that there's a part of something greater than them. Mike said, did you know that they have the minority business loans specifically for women? There is no place for men at this moment. Of course not. Why do you think men are checking out of this country? Men are checking out the Western system, period. A lot of brothers who work in IT or have jobs, they can work on the computer at home or wherever. All they need is a strong landline. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to go to a country that has great internet, where the cost of living is a shitload cheaper, find themselves a traditional wife, and live happily ever after. They'll be a millionaire in other countries, getting houses built from the ground up, bringing infrastructure to the country. I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people ain't going to tell you. A lot of brothers who go overseas and start living there as expats, guess what? Those countries love them. You know why? Because when they get houses built, when they get services, they're bringing jobs to that community. They're bringing infrastructure to that community. They're bringing revenue to that community. And guess what they're going to get? They're going to get the utmost respect. Thank you for putting it in there, blood boiling. A great leader must have three things: accountability, responsibility, and foresight. Sailor Man. I love that. I guess that's the Sailor Man. Oh man. The school had to check her, excuse me, the school had to check her on how to do her job. Not shaming sisters, but it was a Mexican female that got the situation straight. See what I mean? And this is the reason why I appreciate the sisters who support my channel and other um black manosphere content creators is because guess what? Those sisters support. Those sisters, I remember Toya was giving me a new speech to say for my GoFundMe. And she thought I took it as an insult. I said, no, it's out of love. I appreciate it. I don't mind a woman giving her helping hand in her opinion. And she went around it the right way. She didn't go blast me out there. She was like, okay, this might sound a little bit better for the cause. I was like, you know what? I had to read it and was like, you know what? You're right. Toya's in the chat. She'll tell you. See, that's what a woman's supposed to do. She's supposed to be your second in command and great advisor because women are the creatures of the unknown. That's why they can understand feelings. See, men, we're the masters of the logical, the mental, and the physical. They're the mistresses of the emotional and the spiritual. Okay? And that's where they excel. They're supposed to be the great advisor who sees the unknown. We're supposed to be the great leaders who see the reality. Bit of truth said we need to talk. I was talking to a dude about this yesterday. Elongo the macho man, Elongo Sift. Oh, yeah. Way too many people want to be a boss. Way too few have what it takes to be a true leader. See, there's a difference between a boss and a leader. A boss sits in the back, belaying orders. Okay? A commander, a leader leads from the front. He leads by example. Afro National said it best, creating infrastructure and networks. It's a damn shame that being a man, especially a black man, you're penalized three times. See, I hate it when sisters be like, well, you don't know how it feels to be black and a female. Well, you don't know how it feels to be heterosexual, black, and male. And that usually shuts up a lot of conversations. Calvin said, then black women wonder why black men are getting passports and leaving instead of being the spook by the door. Black women are the hangman in the corner office. God knows it. I'm telling you, man. There used to be a time, and my dad said it best. He said, when I came out the service with the Marine Corps for Vietnam, he said, when I went to school, the VA paid for everything down to my last pencil. He said I got a black chick as my counselor, man, and all that shit stopped. I had a meeting with her Friday with my counselor, and now she's trying to say, well, I'm gonna talk to such and such, and I'm gonna call Monday to the people at ESI, and I'm gonna see what's up. Because first and foremost, I want every black woman who's in HR and counseling. I want you to hear it, and I want y'all to share this shit to them. I want you to hear the sound of my voice. Do not be the accomplice to the destruction of the black intelligentsia, the black entrepreneur, and the black community. Because it's going to be a heavy price on your head why we failed when you had the opportunity to give the keys to the kingdom. BGS, like I said last night, BGS had this one elegant painting. It was a black man chained by the neck or waist to a tree with his arms outstretched. It was a black woman who was in a lake and she had a weight on her ankle, like the old ball and chain. and she had her arm outstretched to the black man while the black man had his arm outstretched to her. What was very specific about this painting is that she had a key in the water. That key was going to free that black man from that tree so he could jump in the water. Even though she has that weighted chain and ball on her foot, he was going to jump in that water and rescue her and pull her out of her bondage. All she had to do was give the key. You know where the key was? It was at her side in the water. You got the keys to give black men the education and careers they need, the infrastructure they can build. I've said this once and I say it again. Put this in the chat once again. Men give women purpose. Women give men inspiration. You got to ask yourself, have I been inspirational to my brothers? And we're not talking about the ne'er-do-wells or the jackasses. We're talking about the good brothers who will take care of you. Have you been inspirational? And sometimes when we're raising our children, we got to raise them like they're going to be somebody else's mother and father. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I know y'all tired of me talking now. I might come on tonight. I need to take me a little nap. Well, actually, I need to take a couple of business calls and take a little nap. Get ready for work. Yep, there it is. I'd like to thank everybody for their support, their viewership. Hopefully you feel educated and entertained. And if you're up to it, when I get off, I might have me a Mario panel where we just talk shit. Woo! Salute to you, Berkeley and Mike. Finally got Berkeley up here. Woo! Thank you for your support and have a blessed and beautiful day. And black women, look, I'm going to say this before we get out. Be the great second in command that you were meant to be. Be the people that you were meant to be and not the harlots that the world wants you to be. Be the beautiful women in the second command that you were born to be and not the harlots the world wants you to be. Black men, don't be afraid of being in charge. Don't be afraid of being the leader. Not all leaders have the best decisions, but guess what? A bad decision is better than making no decision at all. Woo! Stay blessed till we meet again. Woo! Well, you know what? I'm typing my email address in the chat. I might hit that motherfucker one more time. Sorry. Excuse me for a moment, folks. There we go. Had to make sure it was correct. That's my email for anybody who needs it. But guess what? We're going to hit that one more time. Because one, we like Ric Flair. Two, we like Bray Miles. Three, we like He-Man and Thundercats. Woo!